Greetings of peace, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Today, we will be discussing why hidden harvests and neglected crops matter today from a medical perspective, from an economic and agricultural perspective, and also from a planetary health perspective. So, in recent decades, we have witnessed a marked rise in diet-related immune and inflammatory disorders, signaling that modern food systems are not longer serving the human health as a whole. From clinical and public health perspective, three converging trends make the case for renewed attention to hidden harvests and neglected underutilized crops. And this is especially urgent to address today when we are seeing gluten-related disorders and celiac diseases affecting more than 1% of the global population, while non-celiac gluten sensitivity is estimated to affect 5 to 10%, particularly in urbanized populations. At the same time, lactose intolerance remained the norm rather than the exception globally, affecting nearly 65% of the world's adult population, with even higher prevalence across Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Yet modern diets really rely on wheat and dairy-centered food systems, which often marginalize alternative grains like legumes and even plant-based foods, which are naturally gluten-free, lactose-free, and metabolically gentler. So the second thing we'll need to focus in this webinar is the concern from the medical and environmental health perspective. Those chronic diseases, they also have a negative impact on the agricultural aspect and the use of pesticides, herbicides. All of these are really affecting the environmental health and not just the human health. So increasing evidence links long-term exposure to these chemicals with the immune dysregulation, endocrine disruption, and gut microbiome imbalance. And also this increases the susceptibility to chronic non-inflammatory diseases. So these exposures disproportionately affect population in the global south, both through direct agricultural contact and through food consumption. Also, we will shed light on the dietary diversity, which has sharply declined, and also the decline of traditional foods. Today, over 60% of the global caloric intake comes from just three crops: wheat, rice, and maize. And they are all has been manipulated with genetic engineering. And also this narrow variety has profound implications for micronutrient deficiency, immune resilience, and metabolic health. Many neglected and underutilized crops, such as indigenous grains, leafy vegetables, legumes, and tubers, are rich in fibers, polyphenols, essential minerals, and immune supportive components, yet remain exclusively not integrated in the mainstream food industry or the health narratives. From a medical standpoint, neglected, underutilized crops are not merely agricultural relics. They represent preventative medicine embedded in ecosystems and cultures. They offer dietary options that are more compatible with genetic diversity, gut health, and immune balance, while often requiring fewer chemical inputs and demonstrating greater resilience to climate stress. Without further ado, I would like to invite you all to engage in this thought-provoking presentation. Let me first introduce our moderator for this session, Dr. Lin Yongjin. Dr. Lin is a graduate medical doctor and master degree researcher in translational and interpretational medicine at the School of Humanities, Beijing University of Chinese Medicine, with interdisciplinary training in English-Chinese translation. Her academic and professional interests lie at the intersection of language, artificial intelligence, and traditional medical knowledge systems. Dr. Yongjin research focuses on the translation and global transmission of traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, through the tools of artificial intelligence, with particular attention to how large language models influence medical knowledge dissemination. She examines the ethical implications of AI-assisted medical translation, including issues of accuracy and cultural representation and epistemic justice. A central concern of Dr. Yongjin's work is the structural bias embedded in AI systems such as ChatGPT and Gemini, which are prominently trained on the American and European linguistic resources. This imbalance often renders traditional medical systems, especially those from non-Western contexts, underrepresented or invisible within the AI-generated knowledge. Her research explores how responsible AI promote, preserve, and fairly represent traditional medicines while advancing the ethical and cultural and epistemological integrity within this field of research. Personal note also, I've had the pleasure to be trained by Dr. Yongzhen during my training in TCM in Beijing, China. And she is a wonderful teacher, by the way. She explains very well, and her knowledge really is equivalent to a professor in medicine. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Dr. Lin Yongjin to take the stage and start our webinar from there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mona. And it's my honor to be here to be the mediator of this webinar. And as a master student candidate in the TCM school, I'm really I do care about the herbal medicine using in curing disease. And today, Dr. Georgi Mantali, his topic is also put the emphasis on the crops, the plans, so it's really hit the topics in my research. So today it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. George Mantali. Dr. Georgi Mantali is an agri-economist and development researcher specializing in the interface between agriculture, health economies, and sustainable food systems. He holds a PhD in agriculture, agronomy, and agriculture economics from Yangtze University, China, and is also a PhD candidate in transformative community development at Mzuzu University, Malawi. His academic and applied work focuses on generating economic evidence to guide nutrition-sensitive and health-responsive agricultural policies. Dr. Mantali's research places strong emphasis on neglected and underutilized crops, which called NUCs, as affordable and climate-resilient solution for improving dietary diversity, reducing household health expenditures, and strengthening rural livelihoods. Using health economics and agri-economic modeling, he evaluates the impacts of agricultural technologies, crop choices, and food system on nutrition, public health, and welfare outcomes. His work also extends to tobacco control and health policy, examining the social, economic, and health implications of tobacco production and control measures in Malawi. He has published widely in peer-reviewed international journals and author books and book chapters, with research presented at international conferences across Africa, Asia, and Europe. Through research, teaching, and policy engagement, Dr. Mantali advocates for integrating NUCs into evidence-based health and agricultural development strategies. And here's our Dr. Georgi Mantali's speech. Let's welcome Dr. Georgi Mantali. Hello, Georgie. You can start your webinar now. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I hope you are able to hear me. You can give me this if you're able to hear me. Do like this. Thank you very much. So first of all, let me thank Professor Mona, but also the MRN Executive for granting me this opportunity that today I would come and share together on the topic of hidden habits for healthy lives. Why neglected and underutilized crop matters for health in the global south. I will not make an introduction of myself as it has already been introduced by the moderator, Dr. Yongzhen Lin. Thank you very much, Dr. Yongzhen Lin, for the wonderful presentation that you presented in order to introduce me. So I'll be taking you through the PPT that I have prepared on the topic that I've just said. Okay, so we need first of all to understand what are the objectives of this webinar. So this webinar mainly is going to try to achieve 5 main objectives. And the first objective that we are going together look on to is we are going to introduce the concept of neglected and underutilized crops. Then secondly, we are going to examine the links between nutrition and public health. Thirdly, we are going to explore how nuts as a tool for sustainable food system. How is it that it's being used as a tool for sustainable system? Then fourthly, I'm going to present the evidence from Malawi. And let me take this opportunity to share with us that my PhD at Mzuzu University is in line with the subject matter that we are going to discuss today. So I'm going to present some of the evidence from the research that I did. Then lastly, I'm going to highlight policy and development opportunities in the global South perspective. First of all, let's look at the global nutrition challenge. What is the outlook of it? What is the main terrain? So you see that the 2+ billion people around the world suffer from micronutrients deficiency. They suffer from micronutrients deficiency. This has been as a result of being dominated by diets that are mainly with few staple crops like wheat, rice, but also maize. This one has contributed or has led to a rising number of non-communicable diseases. But also on the same note, you see that the climate change has been a threat to the food security at large across the world wide. But the question could be, what are neglected and underutilized crops? Maybe some of us, this isn't that has been introduced to us. We need to know what in a straightforward manner NUCs the indigenous these crops, they are
I think
they
you
have
better close
nutritional
your
value.
camera, Georgie, as there is a slight delay in your speech, so it would be better to close your
You
camera.
cannot hear me?
Yeah, it was breaking in a while, so just close the camera and keep your presentation,
Thank you very much. It is also going to help to improve my network. Yeah, so as I was saying, that what are neglected and underutilized crops. So these are indigenous or they are traditional crops that have been said that they are having limited research, but not only research, policy and market support across the global south. But these crops have high nutritional value in it, and they are said to adapt to local and harsh environment. So you see that these kind of crops, they are grown in the rural areas, and they are being cultivated by the youth, but also by women. You can see the picture there. So that picture gives us examples, just a general view of what these crops are. Okay, the question can be why NUCs matter. So these NUCs, they are rich in vitamins, but not only rich in vitamins, they are also rich in minerals and bioactive compounds. It is also said that NUCs, they are climate resilient and they have got low input crops. For example, you don't need to put in fertilizer and the other like for you to harvest them. They also support biodiversity and agroecology. And lastly, they also help to strengthen local food system. Now, I'd like to give an example or examples of some of the nuts that are being studied. So we have Uapa kiakiana. Uapa kiakiana is one of nuts that is being found, and for your own information, is the nut that I am studying for my PhD. So we also have got sorghum, millet, we have got cowpeas, we have got bambara groundnuts, we have got moringa, we have got amaranth, think millet, we have got chia, and we have got quinoa. The picture that I have given there, you see some of them, maybe because we are connecting from different parts of the world, we can be able to appreciate as to what these globes are like. Okay. In continuation, I would like us to look at the nuts and the nutritional benefits. When you look at the diagram that I've just presented there, you see that first of all, we can categorize these nuts into vegetable group. Then there are some other nuts that can be categorized in legumes. There are other nuts that we can categorize as fruits. For example, Uapaka kekiana is an example of the fruit that is in the group of nut. Then we also have got the other one that we can categorize as tubers. So nuts have said to have a nutritional benefits which addresses micronutrients deficiency. It also improves dietary diversity, which is rich in iron, zinc, calcium, vitamin A and C. Further, it is that nuts, it's able to reduce anemia, stunting growth, and dietary-related diseases. So they also help to promote culturally appropriate diet. As I was saying, these kind of nuts, they are being found in the villages. So even some of them, they are being used as a source of traditional medicine. Okay, let's look at the aspect of nut and sustainable agriculture. If I may take you back, I pointed out another point that these nuts, they are climate resilient crops, but also they don't use some inputs like fertilizer and the like, which helps them to thrive in marginal soil. So they can be used, their leaves can also be used as a source of fertilizer, that's compact fertilizer. They require fewer chemical inputs, no need of fertilizer in some instances. They also help to enhance resilience to climate shocks. They can be sustainable, but also they can be used in terms of droughts and other climate shocks. Furthermore, they also reduce environmental degradation. Now, let's talk take a look at the diagram that I have presented there, we are trying to look at the relationship between NUCs and the sustainable agriculture. Ceteris paribus, we assume that that is a tree of Wapakiakiana, and you see that the leaves coming from the tree of Wapakiakiana are being used to cultivate. There's a farmer there who is cultivating those crops, and they are adding value to the soil nutrients, soil health. They are giving some biological nutrients like macrofauna, microorganism, roots, and other organic matter, which in turn it increases the harvest or the yields, and at the end of the time there is food security. Okay, now let me give you a Malawian context of this NUC, because we have been talking about the global south at a large, but now let's try to narrow it down and see what is being done in Malawi. And in Malawi, I'm going to give a case study of my research, which currently I'm doing at Mzuzu University. So I conducted a research on Wapakiakiana. Locally in Malawi, it is called Masuku. This research was done in Mzimba district, which is found in the northern part of Malawi. And I sampled 2 EPAs, that is Vibangalala and Mpelembe EPA, which are all found in the northern part. So as you can see from the map there, that is a map of Malawi. From the map of Malawi, that is a map of Mzimba district, and the highlighted areas, EPA, those are Mpelembe EPA and Kazomba EPA. And to the right side there, I have given a picture of Wapakiakiana Masuku, so that maybe some of us who have not yet taken a look at it, they can appreciate what is it all about. So that is a fruit of Wapakiakiana. You can take it as a low fruit, but also it can be used as for medicine, but it can also be used to cook some porridge. So what are the key research findings that I found out within my study? So first, it was found that Wapakiakiana is contributing to household dietary diversity and micronutrients intake, which is in agreement with the general research findings that I highlighted in the first slides which I presented. But also, it was found that it is widely available in the world, but it is underutilized in the form of food and health system. As I said, that not much research has been done in this area. As a result, it is being underutilized, and it's not known as of its importance. And lastly, we also found out that there are major constraints include seasonality, because usually, like in Malawi, we start enjoying them from the month of November, December, and January. And maybe late February, early February. Yeah, so there's seasonality of it, but also post-harvest losses. There's also limited value addition and weak market linkages between the farmers that harvest them. Okay, so be the pathway of its impact. So we are starting with the Masuku utilization. And when we see that if we can utilize the Wapakiakiana, which is Masuku, it's going to improve the nutrition status, which is not going to end there. It's also going to improve on income generation. When I'm talking about the income generation, we are looking at a historic approach where the income generation or the youth, but also the women that are being underprivileged. It's also going to continue to reduce poverty and food insecurity within the community where it's being cultivated, but at the end of the day, within Malawi as a nation. And lastly, it's also going to improve the health status of the communities or the people that are involved in the food chain because of the income that they are going to get from it. They can use it for their welfare, but also because of the nutrition benefit that they are going to take from it. And there's also another aspect of policy relevance. So through the research, we found out that if we can integrate Wapaka Kiakiana into nutrition, sensitive agriculture, public health, and rural livelihood strategies, it is going to offer scalable climate resilience solution for improving health and well-being of people within Malawi. So as I said, this is just part of the research that I'm doing, and is part of the results that I did. Okay, but every story has got its own challenges. The same with NUCs. NUCs has also got some challenges. As we can see from the presentation, the diagram there, it is led by a number of challenges. For instance, we have insufficient research and inadequate extension services. So not much research has been conducted on this subject matter. We have weak value chains and restricted market access. So the supply chain is limited. The market access is also is limited. We have lack of institutional and policy support. As of now, I can comfortably say that we don't have the policy to govern these NUCs. As a document, we don't have that document at hand, but I think the policymakers are working on it so that we can have it. But also we have inadequate agricultural infrastructure. For example, the irrigation system, transportation, and storage facilities. And another one is little financial incentive to grow these NUCs within the communities, and the lack of knowledge about advantage and cultivation methods. Opportunities and solution. So what are the opportunities and what is it that maybe we can call to be the solution? So we know that the NUC, they are nutrition sensitive. So we need to come up with agricultural policies that are going to advocate for. We also need to come up with research and extension services that are going to support it. But not only that one, we need also to have value addition and agro processing being put in place, so that at the end of the day, we should not just be selling or be marketing these NUCs on its low value, but we should be adding value that at the end of the day, we can make good money out of it. And lastly, we should be thinking about integration into the health and education programs, starting from maybe primary school level, high school level. At least we should even integrate in the curriculum. In continuation strategic solution, we have talked about the nutrition and health policy, research and extension services, but also we need to promote value addition and market, and lastly, cross-sector collaboration. I like what the MRN is doing. As we have seen that we are presenting this presentation, but not only in the perspective of economics, but we are collaborating from different disciplines. So there's a medical part, there's an agricultural part, there's an economic part. So combining all these cross-sector collaboration is going to give us a good value. What about policy and policy development and its implication? So we need to come up with policies that are going to align not only NUC, but also they are going to align with agriculture, health, and climate policies, so that the NUC should not be put aside or should not be worked as a dependent, but it should be combined with the other aspect of development. We should also come up with policies that are going to support the smallholder farmers. As I was pointing out, that these NUCs they are being cultivated or they are found in the rural areas. As a result, we need to support these farmers who are close with NUC. Then thirdly, we need also to invest in the indigenous or neglected food system. Investment comes in many ways. We can invest in terms of knowledge. We can invest in terms of funding for the programs that are going to improve them. We can invest in terms of capacity building. All of it is investment. And lastly, we need to promote inclusive rural development. And when we're talking about promoting inclusive rural development, we are taking into account each and every stakeholder who is at hand, which is involved in the chain, the agriculture chain for this NUC. Okay, let me also talk about the key takeaways that we can take today. First of all, we should come to the general consensus that NUC, they are vital for the nutrition and health system, but also they help to support sustainable and resilient food system. Thirdly, we should also take it that if we can integrate, NUC is going to address not only health system, but it's also going to address poverty through the income generation that is being attributed to it, and it's also going to help in climate challenges. And last but one, we are seeing that NUC, there are strong potential for the global south. There are strong potential for the global south in terms of our food substitution, as we can see that we have been depending on wheat, rice, and maize as our staple food. But if we can try to substitute and try to use them, it means we can have a range of varieties of food at our table. Thank you very much for listening to me. Now I'll hand over to the moderator, Dr. Lane. And from there, we are going to take questions and discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Georgie. Your speech is really inspiring, and it reminds me that in China, like some crops may still start to being forgotten by the peoples in China, because I think the main reason is that our eating habits is really different from the past. Because sometimes, like in China, lots of festivals and some recipes, we use some really rare crops to make this recipe, but now people are chasing the simpler or the more the finer dishes for their festival dinners. So I think eating habits really destroy the crops, especially you said the nuts. So it leave me huge inspiration, and thank you so much for your inspiring and full of knowledge speech. And the next part is the question and answer parts. If anyone have answers, no, have questions, you could type your questions in the chat box or unmute your mic and to ask straightly to Dr. Georgie Monthali. And I have the first question, wants to ask Georgie Monthali. I know that you have studied in two countries, both China and in Malawi. I want to, my first question is that what is the biggest, what is your biggest understanding about the dishes, about the crops, about the policy on crops between China and Malawi? Have you ever get into this part? Yeah.
Yes, other question can be coming as I'm preparing to answer that one.
Yeah.
As the other colleagues, they are trying to come up with some questions. Let me just try to take it. Yeah, you are right, Dr. Lane. I have been in China for maybe now I would say 5 years, more than 5 years. So I'd say that at least I understand a little bit of Chinese agricultural system. And of course, I've been in Malawi for maybe many years. This is my country where I've been born and I've been working. Yeah, so these are the two things that I would like to point out. When you are looking at China agricultural or crop policies and Malawi crop policies, it's difficult to compare them with these facts. First of all, despite that on record, we usually say that and categorize that China is a developing nation. But we should mind that I've been in China. Their policy, they are more advanced as to a nation which you can say that is a developing nation, despite that they are saying is a developing nation. So the Chinese agricultural system has changed tremendously. There is a saying in China which it says "Ni chi fan lema," which means have you taken food? It has got a history of it, because according to research in China, there was a great hunger, which led to the government to take in steps that could help their people. As a result, they came up with strong policies in terms of agriculture system, but also at crop system. Whereas in Malawi, I would say that we are not yet there. We are talking about the document of the policy of NUC. As I was saying, that currently this document is not there, but the government is working hard so that the document can be there. So in short, I would say that it's difficult to compare us because of pastoral analysis, many factors that demarcate these two countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Georgie. And it really I hope the whole world could pay their attentions and put the importance on NUCs there, because they are really apply something unique in food health or in nutrition for everyone in this world. And is there any another questions for Dr. Georgie?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Dr. Brian.
This is Brian. Hi there. Hello, everyone. I have a question, but maybe I'll just preface it with a bit of context first. So you talked, Dr. Montali, about the challenge of tying food systems to income generation, and then also about the alignment of policies between agricultural, health, and climate policies. In my mind, all these questions are tied up very much with the surrounding economic system within which food and agriculture is being produced. So I strongly support the call you made to invest in indigenous food systems. And I suppose the question on that point is, to think about what is the critical difference between those indigenous food systems and what you might call the modern commercial systems. And I would say it's around the motivations people have and the manner of engagement we have with the land and the nature itself. So if you think, for example, if you are growing food for yourself in your own home garden, what kind of food and crops do you have? What does your garden look like? You tend to have, a range of different fruit trees. You may not grow, the most productive kind of fruit tree, but you may grow the ones you personally like the most or being traditional in your family. You may have a mixture of different crops that come to grow at different times of year, and they're all mixed in together at different times. And you compare that to, say, an arable system based on the plough, where we're all growing very sort of monocultural products in bulks for profit. This is where, to me, I see a clear divergence of priorities between growing for income generation and growing for your own direct food sustenance. On the other hand, if you understand what I'm getting at. So my question around that is, what are your thoughts on that, and how do you think we can best shift this sort of combined food and economic system into a more healthy and sustainable direction? Or feel free to take it in whatever direction takes your interest. Apologies, I can be difficult to understand. So I will try to repeat more slowly, or maybe if anyone else managed to understand me, they can feel free to jump in and translate, as it were.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
So
Brian, yeah, we can totally hear you and understand you very well, and it's a very valid point. And the question is about the difference between the indigenous crops and also the modern food systems, and how can we make a balance, or just try to plant something in our backyards, or like something like this.
Yeah, I could understand how what like Dr. Bryce wanted to ask about the indigenous food system and the modern food system is the critical.
What are the critical differences between them?
Yeah, what are the
And,
critical differences
and
between these two systems?
how can we learn, and then in the modern world, from that learning, move forward towards a more healthy and sustainable engagement with our own food systems?
Yeah. And how we could through combining these two systems to move forward our health system of on this world. Is it right, Dr. Brian?
Correct, exactly. Thank you. Perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. So,
Yeah, I'm
Dr.
sorry,
George,
it is not a simple question. It's more of a topic for discussion.
yeah, we should leave more time for Dr. George
Exactly.
to preparing.
That's not really a
Yeah.
question.
Yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Brian, for bringing it up. Yeah, that's a very big question. It looks simple, but it's open for us to discuss, because we are not only looking at these indigenous crops, but also we must find ourselves that we are in the modern age. So how are we going to integrate these two aspects? So it's a point for us to discuss. And Prof. Mona, I think we can try to come up with a topic and go for another meeting for this one, so that we all together try to discuss outside this call. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Georgie, and thank you, Dr. Brian, also for bringing in this very important perspective. How can we try and make a balance by investing more into the indigenous crops and paying more attention to the food systems that's really undermining our immune health? And with this, I would like also that we try to shed more light on the hazards of pesticides use and its negative impact on our immune health. So from my personal experience with this, that while I was studying for my PhD, I was not really paying good attention to my dietary choices, and most of it was something quick, so that I can studying and focus more on the time preparing for my exams rather than preparing food or healthy dishes. So it ended up like in 2016, I developed a severe allergy to gluten, and I didn't really discover this except after 5 years of being treated on prednisone or something like corticosteroids, just to inhibit my symptoms. And I wasn't really convinced that this is the right way to deal with all this kind of allergy that I suddenly developed. Until I read some articles about the exposomes and how what we eat can really affect our gut microbiome, which constitutes more than 95% of our immune health. So when I cut down the gluten in general and any wheat derived products, by this I mean also the junk food, the chips, the all this kind of industrialized food that's having traces of gluten or sugar or lactose or all this kind of unhealthy blends. Actually, the symptoms subside, but it took me something like 7 years or something to reset my immune system. But then now I became more tolerant to small doses, of wheat product. But then usually I feel like it resides in my body even up to 1 month. So whenever I try to eat cakes or anything like this, I know that I'll pay back price of this, like undermining my immune system. And so, as a whole, this experience really made me think that traditional food is really the number one solutions because our gut microbiome is inheritable, something like our genes that's inherited in every society. Also, the gut microbiome is inherited in every society. And so the traditional food is the number one alternative that we can really rely on. I don't know if this resonates with any of you or not, but then sadly, my 15-year-old son has also developed lactose intolerance since a very early age, and this is again a manifestation of the modern lifestyle and the metabolic disorder that is really undermining a lot of our indigenous populations. So there is so much to say about it, really so much to say. Even if we picked up the pesticides use and how it's affecting the endocrine system and causing even what we call now as a pandemic of infertility, maybe, and biobos affecting biodiverse species, not just, the human species, but also many of the animals and even, the different phases of vectors can be affected by this kind of chemicals through the pesticide use. So there is really a lot. There is a lot that we can touch base on. It's all like a critical role of a neglected and underutilized crop to put it in the spotlight so that we can improve nutrition and health outcomes as a whole. And it was very interesting, Dr. Georgie, that you spoke about some of the indigenous crops in your country. We don't have them, geographically speaking, in our countries. But I'm really interested to hear more from those joining us from Nigeria, Liberia, and Ghana. What are the other crops that is really popular for their nutritious benefits? And then we can maybe try to enrich our knowledge about all these kinds of gems present in our indigenous communities, and how can we make the best use to use them once again, first of all for our immune support and also for the environmental resilience. So feel free, Percival, Joe, or Habibullah, to let us know about something special in your countries that's really of benefit to the society there. And Brian, of course, I know you are like traveling to Malaysia. So what do you think about the traditional food there, the Asian foods, or if you have something in mind about any of the crops you have tried before that's not really, like well known in the Western world, and you would like to share with us about this experience?
I think there's too many to even. I mean, there's a very broad trend in the West, but I think globally, of even though with the global system there's more imported foods available, but I think on any given local place there's far significantly reduced variety of, for example, vegetable crops than there were previous times. For example, if you take any particular crop, say potatoes or rice or anything, traditionally there would have been far more varieties being eaten compared to what we eat today. I mean, I know for Peru they had hundreds and hundreds of different kind of potato varieties. That's just one plant. And whereas you go to a modern supermarket, you get maybe 2 or 3 at most. But I was more interested to come back to, I mean, obviously, Mona, that what you said yourself about the connections between food and health very much resonates with me, and your own experiences going through the PhD times similarly resonates with my own experiences and having to overcome what we might call traditional Western ways of looking at health and the advice you get that doesn't help with more chronic immune conditions. I'm just sort of learned from myself that very much resonates with me. So yes, and I think the challenge is how we sift people's expectations and understandings and way of interacting with themselves. I think that's tied in both with food and health. It's how we view ourselves and how we view the land. So thank you for this.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brian. And of course, we can keep the conversation open on the Nova Hub so that we can learn more also from your rich insights. And I would like that Lean also read Percival's comment in the chat box. Lean, if you can get this into our perspective. Percival is a nutritionist in Ghana. So feel free, Lean, to read this for us. Thank you.
In Ghana, they got a rich tradition of crops that are not only delicious, but also packed with nutrients. Here's some traditional crops in Ghana and their health benefits. First, I don't know how to spell, but I hope I spell it right. It's fufu crops. He's rich in fiber, vitamins, and minerals like potassium. And the second is how to say groundnuts. Also, it's kind of peanuts, I think. It's high in healthy fats, protein, and antioxidants. Antioxidants. The third one, it's how to spell it? Am I right? Kotokili? I'm sorry about that. I really don't know how to spell it right. I'm so sorry if I spell wrong. Please forgive me. And it's a leafy green packed with vitamin A, C, and K, and minerals like calcium. And the third one is millets. Yeah, millets also exists in China and I think it's in the North China, people also eat millets because it's really like Percival said, it's a good source of fiber, protein, and minerals like iron and zinc. And the fifth one is how to say sorghum. I don't know. Sorry about that if I spelled it wrong. It's rich in fiber, protein, and antioxidants. And the sixth one is Kenneth. Its leaves are edible and rich in vitamins and minerals. And the seventh one is how to say baobab fruit. It's high in vitamin C, fiber, and antioxidants. These crops offer various health benefits, including supporting digestive health and boosting immunity and providing energy, and promoting healthy skin and hair. Also, I want to talk about in China because we know that China is a really huge country. It across like many regions. So between the North China and the South China, we have a really huge difference in our eating habits. And in the South China, the most crops, the crops that we mostly eat, it's I think it's rice. Yeah, rice is the main crops that in South China. And in the North China, we eat lots of crops like wheat and soy, and also like Percival said, also millets. And I think China is a place that could grow many kinds of grains because we have different climates, also different geography conditions. So it's really so in China, a lot of crops are really growing good and in large, how to say, large production. This is what I want to say, the situation in China. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Oladipo. Yeah, is it right? I'm sorry. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you so much, Percival and Dr. Habib and Lean, for this very nice addition to what we really can benefit from going back to our roots and eating more local and having the traditional food plates into the diet. And I would like to know if there is any comments or questions to Dr. Georgie. Yes, Joe.
Yes, Dr. Muna, thank you. And thanks to Dr. Teddy for this brilliant presentation. It just got me reflecting on our crops that we usually find in our diet in Liberia, especially the cassava leaves, um, potatoes, greens, our traditional rice that we produce, which we call the country rice. Most of the time, people go for either plantain, um, peanuts, fruit like papaya and mangoes. These are things that are hardly being used and eaten in our society. And also the what we call the palm that we face out of soup is called palm butter. So these are crops that we usually eat in Liberia, and these are our staple food um that people from that promote traditional crops in our country. So for Eastern now, the AFP is doing school feeding programs in Liberia, and now they have shifted to traditional crops like locally grown food that is being produced that they are using to feed the kids in school for them to stay in school. So also UNICEF also approved of 45 um complementary feeding for children from 6 up that is being improved that is used at the Edos. There's a fish called boni. The blended dolls, Benesi, and those are all important crops that are being used in Liberia. So when Dr. Josh was presenting, it gave me a clear picture of I see why these things are very important in our society. And thank you so much to Dr. Josh for giving me this kind of opportunity to learn more and more. Thank you, and over to you, Dr.
Thank you so much, Joe from Liberia. And I can see also Mr. Habibullah. He's raising his virtual hands. Please unmute yourself, Mr. Habib. We can hear you here.
Yeah, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Yeah, it's nice to be here, and I've really been enjoying the sessions since the time I joined. So I just want to echo what the message that was sent to the platform, and I strongly believe that Ghana and Nigeria have so much similarities in terms of the crops that are being grown there. And I was very happy when Lynn also mentioned that there are quite similarities between crops that are available in Africa as well as China as well. So just to add to just to reiterate, just to echo what Dr. Percival actually put on the platform here, talking about the pawpaw, which is actually also very rich in vitamin C, potassium, and then also an antioxidant. And the second one, which is okra. I really commend Lynn the other time because she was able to pronounce those words perfectly. Thank you so much. Yeah, so okra is kind of a crop and it's used in making stew, eating with something we call swallow, like food that are solid, that are made in a solid form, you know. And so it's actually very rich in vitamin C, just as being posted here on the platform. We also have cocoa. That cocoa, it's basically the bedrock crops that is used in making beverages. You know, the coffee, the teas, and so many others. So it's very rich in fiber. It has high fiber content. Then the cocoyam leaves. Actually, this kontoma, I strongly believe is a particular word innate to Ghana. And I don't really know the local name we call it here, but we also have cocoyam leaves as well in Nigeria. So I think that we kind of see so much similarities. And the last one here, I think almost everyone will be familiar with the moringa leaves. And it's very common. It has so many nutritional benefits, and this is quite amazing. So thank you so much. So I would just like to ask a question, just regarding, since we are talking about healthy lifestyle, regarding diet, or and I heard Dr. Mona mentioned something related to gut microbiome, like how they are very important. And in a situation where we have these biases, it tends to have exacerbation of disease progression of any kind, especially chronic inflammatory disease. So I just want perhaps a more clarification regarding how our unhealthy eating habits can the relationship between this microbe, either gut microbe, and I think she mentioned something about 95%. I didn't actually get that part very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Habib. And to give you background, Mr. Habib, he is a pharmacist and also a microbiologist. And he has made a lot of research on the gut microbiome and its relationship to the neuroinflammatory diseases. And also he's working on communicable diseases like leishmania, and he has got a great grant awardance that is currently working on some of the major public health issues in Nigeria. So thank you so much, Mr. Habib. And also Habibullah, he is the deputy of research for the MRN. So I really thank you for this very important perspective that you've shared. And the reason why we are trying to link what Dr. Joji has just shared from agricultural and economic perspective with a medical perspective, that a lot of dietary perspective undermine the immune health of our gut microbiome as we switch to the Western style of eating. So we need to revisit what are the hidden harvests that our grandparents, our ancestors used to eat, because this is what's really inherited as a generation, unique for every geographical distribution. So with this, I mean, like in Egypt, we have to refer again to the beans and some sort of green mellow. We call it molokhia, that's used even during the ancient Egyptian times, because this is what we inherit in our gut, in our blood and everything. So every community should really try to search for what has been indigenous, because this is where the starting point, we try to heal our gut microbiome back. And it's very popular about the fertilized food. I know that in China even they fertilize the soya beans, and I've tried this. And this plant that Percival wrote about the okra, I think in China they call it bamia, and also in Egypt we call it bamia, by the way. So I think, Brian, you call it in Britain like okra, right? So
Okay.
yeah, it's full of mucus, and it's very good to heal the lining of the gut. So anything that's full of mucus really is good in general. So I don't know if I answered your question, Habibullah, or not, but then it's yes, 95% of our immune health is governed by the gut microbiome. So we need to pay really good attention to this.
Thank you so much. I think it answers my question. Thank you so much.
I think that with this we can wrap up our webinar. Perhaps Dr. Joji, you can again let us know about the areas of research that we can focus on as a community of researchers trying to revive the indigenous knowledge systems and present our argument from a personal health and a planetary health approach.
Thank you very much. First of all, before I give my concluding remarks, let me just thank again Prof. Mona, MRN, Dr. Lin, and everyone of us who joined for participating in this webinar. Some of the key areas that we would do further research on gender gaps. We need to conduct research on gender gaps between male and females in the participation of cultivation of these neglected and underutilized crop species. But also we can also try to do research on policy implications. What policies? As Dr. Lin was asking us about the agricultural policy on NUC in China and in Malawi, we can also try to do research on it. What is it that has been done so far, and what is it that it is remaining in terms of policy? Thank you very much. I think these are the 2 points that I wanted to share.
Thank you so much, Dr. Georgie. This has been really an inspiring talk. And before we end the call, I would like also to invite Dr. Kukul. Dr. Kukul is from India, and he has such a marvelous initiatives to preserve the diversity of medicinal plants and also work on the Ayurvedic medicine. So, Kukul, if you can hear me and you're able to unmute, we would
Hi.
really love to hear you.
So I'm Gokul from India. Uh, right now I am at my university. So I'll just go ahead saying something we are working on a project which is like an app. It's like a way of collecting information about how people are using biodiversity, so that through that we can link the connection to the traditional and medicinal knowledge systems and things like that, so that we start building that one community around this traditional medicine usage and everything on that. Then create a repository of information, and also build something which can help us research on data, getting data on how different plants behave differently like this. I think have you seen hibiscus? Have you guys seen hibiscus? Do you know which all countries have hibiscus? It's you can find that in Fiji, you can find that in or in South America, mostly in all the countries. You can find it in India. It's almost everywhere in the world. So in India, we have some usage of this plant for dandruff and a lot of other stuff. But when you go to Bolivia or other countries, they don't have that use for dandruff. They use it for some other purpose, but almost similar. So the information of traditional knowledge from India is a little we can. So within our app, that we can transfer information from the use of traditional medicine in India to other countries. So one country to another country, you can transfer information. So a lot of stuff like that we are trying to implement, and also record information about how this biochemical stuff as well. It's a little bit. I need to talk to Mona as well, Dr. Mona, about the biochemical usage, how we can use the climate and weather pattern to see into how we can find the active components, and also stuff we can mention somewhere, so people in the Western medicine also sees this something important to work with as well. So pretty much that's all I think I can say.
Thank you so much, Kukul. And please do share with
Thank
us
you.
the application that you've
Sure.
been working on, and any relevant resources that we can keep on, educating ourselves more about the diversity of medicinal plants and the hidden crops in India
Sure.
and in the part of the world you're speaking from.
Thank you. Sure.
So I'll give it back to Lean to wrap up the meeting and have the clothing thoughts. before we end the call. And please do check the link to the post-webinar survey. We would love to hear more from you, and it will just take like 5 minutes. So thank you everyone for joining today's meeting, and yeah, back to you, Lean.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Bona and Dr. Georgie, and also all the participants that give them inspiring ideas to this webinar. I'm really like touched by the conversation between different countries, different culture, to how to say, to share the crops, the situation on the crops in your countries and in your culture. So it's kind of give me a sense of hope that we really could encourage the policies or encourage like companies or to move forward to run the health systems by sharing the crops, sharing our NUCs to the world. And I finally realized through Dr. Georgie's speech that it has that much advantages. So I think we should work together as a team and advocates anyone to join us and make it more powerful, make us a more powerful force to continue this topic, and I think we could make it. And so today's webinar is really inspiring and full of knowledge. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. It's touching. So we should today's webinars is finished, so everyone could like communicates with each other like privately after the webinars, and we are so welcome this kind of communication between you guys. So should I close the meeting, or Mona did? I do. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, and bye-bye. Thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. Goku. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you so much.
everyone.
Thank you so much,
you.
Dr. Lin.
Thank you.
Bye
Yeah.
all. Thank you.
Thank you, Georgie, for the wonderful
Yeah, it seems like
presentation.
Mona, you could like end this meeting because I'm not the host. Okay, so thank you, Mona.
So much. Thank you so much, Lean, for the wonderful moderation of the session. And particular thanks to Dr. Georgie. We really hope to read your published manuscript on this topic very soon. And thank you everyone for joining. And until next time, take great care of you. And salam alaikum. Bye bye.